me about yourself. I'll ask you 5 questions and just follow your heart with each answer and add up your points. These will go quick, so pause if you need to. Question 1. Why do you post on social media? To let people know I'm alive? To empty out my gallery? I love the dopamine / it's just fun? Or I don't post? Question 2. How do you feel when you go to an event where you know no one? I feel excited to meet new people. I feel nervous no one's going to speak to me. I'm okay being there on my own. Or I don't go. Question 3. How do you feel when someone gives you feedback you didn't ask for? I'm kinda hurt. I feel disappointed at their response. I feel okay and thank them for letting me know. That was rude. I don't consider it. Thank them, but still feel a little bit disappointed. Question 4. When someone thinks you have the entire opposite personality you do have, how does this make you feel? Oh, that's funny. I wonder why they thought that. Oh my goodness, that's embarrassing. No one understands me anyway. How could you get that wrong? Question 5. How long does it take for you to find an outfit to wear? I try on several before settling on one. I throw on whatever. I know exactly what I want to wear. I wear the same stuff I always wear. All reliable. Now add up your scores because I think there are 4 types of people. If you had a score 50 and below, you admit to caring about what other people think, and you actively put effort into trying to be liked by other people. You like to play it safe. Most likely, you're easily likable. If you had a score 51 to 100, you admit you care what other people think, but in a curious way. You're not going to change yourself or conform. You want to be seen, but not as basic or like a replica. If you had a score 101 to 150, you say you don't care what other people think, but you low-key do, and you still put effort into trying to be liked. Like, you try to appear effortless, perhaps a little nonchalant. If you had a score 151 to 200, you say you don't care what other people think, and you mean it. You don't change how you are for anyone. Perception is a funny thing. Everyone perceives and everyone is, but not in the same way. My sources from those quiz results were from what I gathered from different people and also from personal experience. And I know the quiz I made isn't entirely true. You can care more or less about what different people think of you. You want to be seen differently in some ways than you want others to see you, usually for your benefit. Like wanting to seem like you're smarter than your classmates in a class you don't study for, or pretending you understood the reference your friend just said so they don't think you're weird. Or even wanting to be seen in a bad way, but for the greater good, like me intentionally saying "pog" to a guy who liked me so he would get the ick and think I'm cringe and stop talking to me. I have a hard time saying no to people. But regardless of how you try to make others see you, there is a way you see yourself. And I could say the reason why we code switch and have social filters is just because we're social creatures and it's in our nature to try and belong, and just call it a day. But I think there's more to ask than that. Like, will there ever be a true way you see yourself? Is who you are decided by the majority of what people think of you, or what you tell yourself? Is perception us looking for meaning or connection? How we perceive. Not to be confused with judging, what we perceive is how our brains naturally guesstimate something about a topic, in this case, people. We're wired to assume things for efficiency. Our minds like to jump to conclusions because nobody has the time to triple fact check or weigh every possibility ever. So, meeting people for the first time, unknowingly or not, we make a profile of them in our heads, based on their appearance, their demeanor, their expressions, filling in the missing gaps. For example, you might see from those red pill accounts, oh, that person is a bad posture, it must mean they're insecure and want to shrink themselves. Or, they had a weak handshake, they have little respect for others, and cannot be trusted. They walk in long strides, they must be confident. Of course, it's not this judgmental each time, but it is true that we tend to naturally draw conclusions about people. And the more you do this, the more it makes you aware of how other people may view you. The fear. Some people say that they have a fear of being perceived, but I don't think it's that they don't want to be seen. I think it's that they don't want to be seen in bad ways. Most of the time. You might hear that having a fear of anyone perceiving you, seeing you at all, is a sign of weak self-concept. Perhaps you don't know who you are, so you don't want others to decide it for you. You see, naturally, I thought everyone would want to be perceived. I thought everyone wants to be seen. It's human to want attention and recognition, and if you say you don't, you're probably lying. I mean, I figure things like anxiety or non-supportive company might make people not want to take up too much space, but I'd say a fear of being seen is different to a fear of being perceived. But in general, if you say, I don't want to be perceived, it's not that you want to be secluded and an unknown floating being with no belonging. You just don't want the possible negatives of it.
If you say you don't want to be perceived, you're probably lying. Do you really want to be unseen, or is it easier to be mysterious than it is to be real? Me, I never wanted people to assume my intentions or to look like I was doing too much or to show I was passionate, because apparently passionate can be ugly. I don't think you don't want to be perceived. I think you're afraid of losing control over people's perception of you. All the excuses, the overthinking, the trying to be perfect, it's all an attempt to control your own narrative. You can't be criticized if no one knows anything about you. If you ever feel alone in the way that you view the world, how can you find like-minded people when the only thing we know about you is your face? I don't care how introverted, extroverted, in between inverted you are, you need to express yourself. You gotta take up space, you gotta let yourself be perceived. There are so many rooms that wanted you there this whole time, if only they knew you belonged.
I saw this reel I don't know how many years ago. The only way I was able to find it again was because I put the link to it in my archive thoughts folder, a place for ideas to talk about if I were to ever start a YouTube channel. The thought of starting this channel has been a penting up idea for years, but I've been too scared. I tend to be too self-critical. I like to ground myself in reality by doubting my ideas. So if I'm ever disappointed, the fall from the dream won't be as high as it would have been if I had raised my expectations. Usually if I have an idea, I let it sit on the back burner or wait for someone else to come up with it, or let it fizzle out. But once the buildup became too much and I got tired of procrastinating something I wanted to do for years, I'm finally making changes against this fear of being perceived. So believe me when I tell you, I know what it's like to not want people to see me in a way I don't want them to. But the thing is, you don't have control of how anyone perceives you. No one has. And I'm telling you, it's not worth trying to be mysterious if it's at the expense of your own expression. The fear of being perceived isn't just the fear of being seen. It's the fear of being seen in ways you don't want. And letting that go is so freeing. The appeal. What's your MBTI? Soldier, poet, or king? What's your Hogwarts house? Oh my gosh, I love psychoanalysis, and the more specifically accurate it describes me, the more fulfilled I feel. This is so me. Except, when I get a result I don't like, then it's stupid and shouldn't be taken seriously. Those who want to be perceived. I believe everyone is searching for their own meaning and identity. Even though some people don't like labels or boxes to be put into, some people find them helpful to better understand themselves. As humans, we are naturally curious. We have an inherent desire to know ourselves better. Personality quizzes are a great avenue for helping us to identify our traits, our reactions, patterns. They can be validating and enlightening. Of course, personality quizzes aren't the only way to be perceived, but there is such an appeal to them. They're also a good example to try and understand why someone would want to be perceived. By knowing what others might think of you, you can get validation, security, and make sure what people think of you is how you want them to. However, when the need to be validated becomes an obsession, it can push stuff such as overconsumption. I need to buy this in order to be this, or individualism at extreme levels, looking too inwardly and being too concerned only about yourself, or the lines between belonging and fitting in being blurred, trying to adapt to other people while losing yourself, or dependence on needing others in order to feel fulfilled. So we gotta find a balance between the acceptance of being perceived and trying to control it. But this poses the question, are you who you say you are? I've wondered whether who we are is determined by what we think or what the majority of people think about us. Like, I know that only you can decide your destiny and only you know who you are. But, for example, if a person in their head sees themselves as great and kind and amazing, but majority of people see them as arrogant and condescending, are they the version they perceive themselves as, or how everyone else perceives them? William Edward Bogart Dubois, also known as Webb Dubois, came up with the term double consciousness, which is the mix of your identity and the perception of it. As an African-American writer in the early 1900s, he knew what it was like to be seen in a way by others that didn't align with the way he saw himself. He describes the experience of having a divided identity, where society's racial prejudice fight with maintaining a sense of self and culture. Why did God make me an outcast in my own home? His theory of double consciousness, though so well written from his personal experience, is not only limited to racial lenses. In today's day and age, especially with social media, I think it highlights how much there is you can be judged on. We still of course have the racism, but I think as a society, we have become more self-conscious under the pressures of classism, beauty standards, trends. The list goes on. It seems like every little thing you do is something you can be judged for. I think that a person's identity is... I think that a person's identity is shaped by both their self-perception and outer perception, but even then, not everyone knows everything about another person. I don't even think we can know our true selves entirely. He thought sustained intimacy could allow you to truly understand the mind of someone else. He didn't realize our true nature is forever locked away inside the labyrinths of our own minds, often even obscure to ourselves. He mad. There's a Japanese philosophy of the 3 faces that everyone has. The first face is the one you show the world. The second face is the one you show close family and friends. And the third is the one you never show anyone. And they say that all successes and failures begin and end in this face. But if we're going off that who we are is created by other people's views and ourselves, then I think there's a 4th face we might be missing, which is where the Johari Window comes in, a window designed to help people understand themselves and others. Here, there are 4 sides. The open arena, a side known to yourself and others. For example, you might agree with everyone that you're fun, you're friendly, but you have the facade, known to yourself but not to others, like low-key you might be hiding sadness disguised with humor or happiness. Then there's the blind spot, not known to self but known by others, like you might be too trusting of a person, too naive, which other people can see but you can't. And then the unknown, where neither you or anyone knows the side of you. You don't know why you function or think in some ways. Perhaps not knowing what shapes your thoughts and behaviors, like unconscious bias, stereotypes, trauma. So even though the unknown side can be smaller than, let's say, the open side, I believe it'll still always be there. So will we ever truly know who we are? Or is getting to a point where you say, yeah, I know myself enough, satisfactory? Conclusion. Perception is so natural to us, even if it's not 100% accurate. It's something that we do consciously and subconsciously. I already said how we perceive, and it's just through guesstimation. But I never said why I think we perceive. And since I'm gonna end the video, I'll just say like how I said earlier, we're social creatures, and it's in our human nature. We are subconsciously trying to find people to connect to. But since perception is subjective like art, why not be the most authentic art you can be? That aside, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed my yapping, and let me know your thoughts and if I perceived you right from the intro quiz. See you all next time!